So this second video on the explanation section is actually on this right-hand side here. And we've got May selected, May 2022. And so what this section does, and the metrics that are part of it, it says, if we select May 2022, what I want to know is what of the work that was done in that month has been billed. Now, it might have been billed in that month, it might have been, or it might have been billed subsequently. We don't care when it was billed. We care that it relates to work done in that month. So what we're seeing is the billable amount recorded, which is coming from Action Step, is $154,500 of billable work recorded. And we call that billable work. What we do as well then is we say that we want to understand what of that billable work has been billed. And so what we can see there is we've got 7,450, which is unbilled, and 7,135, which is unbilled no charge. So one of those, that no charge one, we've made a decision we are not billing that amount. And so because of that, we've got this unbilled 7,450. You will notice if you look closely, the work billed is lower, 135,000, compared to the billable work of 139,984 for the billed category, and that's because of discounts. So if we see a discounted invoice, we're applying it here so that the work billed includes that, and you can see the discounted amount is $4,763. So if I look at that top row, we've talked about the billable work. So 154,000 of billable work was done in May. 135,000 of that was billed. 7,450 of that hasn't yet been billed, and we've decided that we haven't decided we're not going to bill for. And so this is what I wanted to try and say is we've got $7,450 of WIP that is still to be billed. It may be classed as unbilled no charge in the future, but it could be that it's $7,450 that could potentially be billed. So that's how the WIP's calculated. You've got the discounted amount, and then we also then have two rates. One, the effective rate is used a lot in the free pages. That is the work billed plus the WIP divided by the client hours. So what we're trying to do there is we're saying the work you billed, the work you could bill, divided by the client hours, so that we understand that in the month you worked, in say May, you worked these hours, and you have billed or are able to bill the combination of the work billed and WIP, which is around the $142,500. So that effective rate means that for every hour you worked on a client billable matter, you were able to bill $130. And the average billing rate is a little bit different, but we're dividing that by the billable hours worked. So that's saying ignore the kind of waste hours and just look at the pure hours of billing, billable hours. What is the average rate you get from that? So $130 is probably a more accurate value of what you're able to charge. But the average billing rate is useful to saying, okay, well, based off who's doing the work, obviously the more senior people are a higher rate, juniors are a lower rate, and therefore this might give you a metric to go, okay, for every hour of billable work, how much are we charging, or should we be pushing that up? So yes, that those are those first 6 metrics. The final metric that we've got in here is proportion billed, and that is looking at um, effectively what some people would call recovery rate, which is the work you've billed divided by the billable work. And so at the moment we have billed 135,000 out of the 154,000 of billable work. And so the proportion billed is 87.5%. Now, we've got a recovery rate target set of 75% that you want to recover 3 quarters. You may want a different target. We can sort that out. And then we have a performance metric, which is what is your performance in relation to that target that you've set. So right now, the 75% is configurable. We can set it to whatever you want it to be. But this proportion billed, I think, is a good metric for you to understand. And obviously, the further back you go, the higher you would expect. So you'd expect quite high. You would expect it to be quite low for more recent months where you maybe haven't had a chance to bill work for maybe the prior month or the month before. But after that, you should be comfortable that the number is reflective of sort of how much can you recover? What is the proportion you're billing? So that's that second section. Again, in summary, it is looking at what work did I do in the month selected. If I just move myself out, you can see that's May 2022. What work did I do in May 2022? And what have I been able to recover and bill from that work that I did?